Bom bom bom
Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. Bayede, ingozi. Bayede, ingozi. Bayede, ingozi. Bayede, ingozi.
Good afternoon from the Dome, Swakopmund, as we continue with our live broadcast from the WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund 2022 event. Quite a major event, quite a lot happening. What you will see unfold here at the Dome in Swakopmund is not only the biggest skills competition on the continent, but you will also we tell you more about the TVET conference that is also underway, where a lot of policy makers and technical experts are gathering here to talk about how TVET is such an important sector, and how especially we can assist our young people to realize that you do not necessarily just have to be academic inclined, but you can also use your hands, improve on your skills to become somebody in this life. Now, last night we saw the opening of this major event in Swakopmund, but we'll tell you more about that later on. I am now joined here by Muvatera, Ndjoze-Siririka, the Acting Namibia Training Authority CEO. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Briefly tell us, the NTA has been quite involved in the planning and organizing of this event. Quite a significant event for the NTA and what your business is all about.
Yes, thanks, Franlin. The issue is that, yes, we've been involved in this, the organization. It's a heavy task, of course, on us as Namibia and as Africa. Of course, the WorldSkills International, it's an international body. A lot of these conferences were taking place, or the events were actually more in the European countries. We've had the first one taking place in Rwanda in 2018. We actually had to compete against the best there is in the world, and we were chosen in Kazan in 2019. Of course, it's not been an easy ride for us. Of course, we've had the COVID interference, and that has delayed the conference. We were supposed to have had it in 2021. We couldn't have it in 2021 because that whole year, to me, was cancelled out. But all in all, here we are. It has actually taken a lot from us as an NTA, but we had to organize a lot in terms of getting partners on board and get a lot of the necessary assistance. Of course, we've had the NBC coming on board, and so many others have also come on board in terms of infusing resources, making it available that at least this day is actually realized. And I think that's what it is, yeah.
Tell us more about the Namibia Training Authority and its role here in Namibia.
The NTA, of course, it's an agency of state, of course. It's an agency of state, and it falls under the Ministry of Higher Education, particularly focusing on TVET provision. Now, of course, NTA has got two core functions. One is the funding of TVET in the country. The other function of NTA is actually the regulation of TVET. That is the whole area of curriculum development, the whole curriculum development, assessment and certification thereof. So those are basically the two core functions of the NTA. As an agency of state, of course, it has actually taken over the roles of the Ministry of Higher Education in terms of TVET provision. The ministry has now remained with the issues of policy, setting policy tones and what have you, standards and what have you. But at least the core regulation of TVET and TVET provision, the supervision thereof, the training function, is actually devolved to the NTA, and that is what the NTA is actually doing.
Tell us more about the importance of TVET, especially for our young people. So many a times what you find is, you know, the perception that you have to be academically inclined. But in many African countries, we have the resources, but we do not necessarily have the skills. Tell us about the importance of skills, especially in Namibia, in order to grow our economy.
Well, look, I don't think that NTA has a magic wand to that. The reality is that skills development or skills provision, skills turn economies around. That's the reality of the situation. Ideas are good, but the ideas to have universities that generate ideas, it's good to have those ideas, but you need to put that idea into practice, and the only way you can put it in practice is actually to have that idea turn into by a technically qualified person in that idea to become a reality. So I think that's the reality of the situation. Now, look, we've got two situations that we can look at. We've got Germany after the Second World War. We have South Korea after the armistice of 1953. That's a reality that we can take from. Now, if we take the two countries, Korea by 1973 was as any other developing economy, like as good as Kenya, Egypt, and the others in the African continent. Korea today is an industrial society, an industrial economy that is among the others, that is actually also churning out technology. And the magic that the Koreans did, they have actually, at all times that they had a different economic trajectory, what they have done was they have changed their Vocational Education and Training Act all the time. And this goes back from 1953, 1962, it was 79, and then it was 80, I think 83 there. So they've been changing their act all the time whenever they were trying to have a totally different economic trajectory. Korea was an agricultural economy. It moved from agriculture to paint production, to automotive, to service industry. That's what it is now. That's what the Korean economy is all about. And if you look at the development within the Korean system of TVET, it has been all along been developing along. Now, why am I giving this Korean example? The Korean example is actually typical for us. I think it's something that we can look at. We need to look at that. Namibia is a small economy. It's a small country. We have an abundance of resources. We can turn our resources. We can add value to our resources. We need to add value to our resources. And that's what we need to do. So I think what we need to do is actually look at whether we cannot turn this economy around. And we can only turn our economy around with our people. There's no other way we can do it.
And the emphasis on young people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this country is 75% youth, 75%. Now, if you look at the statistics that I got now recently in the meeting that we are attending, they are saying Africa, the average of youthful population in Africa, average age is 18. And Africa is the one that is there. So Africa, if we do not take this opportunity, make it a point that our young people take the technical and vocational education into account to turn around our economies, we will be left behind and will remain behind.
What do you think should those in attendance, not only young people, what will they take away, or what can they take away from this conference? As the conference started today, the competition is also kicking off. What can they take away from this week?
Look, okay, the whole thing is, we've got the three elements in one. We've got the exhibition, we have got the competition, we have the conference. But of course, from the conference, where some of us are attending, ours is to see, get input from our colleagues, from the region, from the world, get their advice, see how best we can actually imbibe what they are actually putting forward, look at how best we can actually copy from them, and of course, we are linking up. We are connecting with our colleagues. we will have to. And I was, luckily at tea time, I had a meeting with the minister. And I was telling the minister, there is one thing that I have learned from yesterday's meeting. You need to link up with the Koreans. You need to look at their system, and you need to look at that system very closely.
We understand, talking about South Korea, we understand that, you know, even if Namibia is not necessarily going to win the competition, they were invited by South Korea to go there.
Yes, you look, and I'm not only trying to be biased and what have you, but I mean, I've been to the Korean situation, I have seen their system, I've read about their system, and I've actually felt that this is something that we can learn from. There is something that we can learn from their system. There is a lot that we can learn as Namibia, and what we need to do is to change gears. Focus more on TVET in this country, put our resources. In fact, when the NTA asks for resources from government, I think government should not look at the NTA and say that the NTA has got the levy fund. No, levy fund is there to assist in the private sector. But we need to have government coming on board, putting in resources, exposing our system to our young people and making sure that at least a lot of our young people come on board and participate in the system. Let them actually make TVET a choice, their first choice, before they actually even think of any other university.
Acting CEO of the Namibia Training Authority, Muvatera Ndjoze-Siririka, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Great.
Now, earlier on, I told you about the opening ceremony that took place yesterday, and the guest of honor at that ceremony was Namibia's Vice President, His Excellency Nangola Mbumba. And what you have also witnessed was a beautiful parade, an absolutely beautiful parade of the countries that are taking part in the skills competition that the acting CEO of the NTA was talking about. Amongst the countries that are attending, Democratic Republic of Congo, Namibia obviously, South Africa, the oldest member, one of the oldest members from the African continent that's part of WorldSkills International. And for now, if you've missed out on the opening ceremony of yesterday, let's take a look at some of those highlights.
Be a man of bravery, be a man of bravery, this is what you are, this is what you are, be a man of bravery, be a man of bravery, this is what you are, this is what you are,
with 5 competitors and 4 experts.
I'm feeling strong like Tatamadiba. The king is back and I'm here to stay.
They competed in their first WorldSkills competition in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 2015. Team Refugee competes under the WorldSkills flag. They compete this year in 9 areas with 9 competitors and 9 experts. Team South Africa competes this year in 14 areas. They have 15 competitors and 14 experts. Team Namibia is a full WorldSkills member, our very first WorldSkills competition. Gentlemen, your competitors for WorldSkills Africa's Swakopmund 2022. Give them a big round of applause.
My name name is Matekwa Tsemos. I'm from Ghana. I'm here to read the competitor suits. In the name of all competitors, I promise to compete fairly, respecting and abiding by the code of ethics and conduct, the competition rules, and the WorldSkills values, all in the true spirit of WorldSkills. Thank you.
Demand for stars, so Chaka Zulu. Examine man, cause Jimmy Mukwame. Put your fist in the air, cause we just winning.
Our members, it is genuinely an honour to work alongside you to support Africa to become a global powerhouse for the future.
This is what you are, go cuesta sajoka. This is what you are, go cuesta sajoka. Be a man of grace.
Welcome back. We continue with our broadcast here from the Dome in Swakopmund, where the WorldSkills Africa 2022 Swakopmund event is taking place. Now, this event is held under the theme Promoting Skills Development in the 21st Century for Sustainable Economic Growth and African Ownership. And who better to do that than the young people of this African continent? I had the privilege yesterday when I was walking around here, spoke to some of these young people, and they are absolutely passionate and ready to take on some of the challenges that they will be given during the skills competition. But for now, we cross over to the competition skills area where Emil Seibeb, our reporter, is standing by to tell us more. Emil, good morning. Emil, please first of all describe to us the mood down there.
Franlin, the mood is absolutely amazing. I must also quickly pause and say good morning to our viewers across Africa from the participating countries and to the viewers, good morning. The mood in the Dome, in the competition hall is absolutely amazing. The contestants arrived on Friday and it was all chilled. I must say the changes in the faces is quite amazing. Everyone is so focused, everyone is so determined to cut the material, to lay that brick, to cut the onion to the expectations of the chief experts. Franlin, I have visited all the stalls this morning and the sportsmanship is there. The chief experts are behind the competitors, watching every single detail like a hawk. Earlier, I could hear applause at the fashion technology. I think it's one of the first skill sets that finished earlier, that finished first for today. Well, the others are more intricate, like the tiling will take 22 hours to finish. They have a task to tile the Namibian flag on the wall and then the Namibian map on the floor. So there is also something amazing to look at. I'm sure we will bring you inserts of this progress later. Now, I'm joined here by Troy Everett. He is a chief expert in bricklaying. When we say bricklaying, we know that you get cement, you put a brick on top of each other. Apparently, it's not as easy as it is. How are you, Troy?
I'm well, thank you, and very excited to be here. As you say, bricklaying is not just about putting a layer down and positioning a brick. It's doing a lot of craft work, and it's often building people's homes. And that's the pride and joy of people, so we take the responsibility very seriously.
Troy, can you just tell us about the particulars of the challenge that the competitors are facing today? What exactly is expected from them?
The test we set aims to challenge as many high-level skills as possible within a set time frame. So it's like 5 days worth of work they have to do in 3 days, and all the work is really highly technical. So there's a lot of problem solving, and there's a lot of decisions you have to make, quality versus quantity, because in order to do well, it's got to be accurate, it's got to look good. Just like in industry, people don't want to pay for good work if it doesn't look good, and it's got to be within the standards as well. But here at the competition, we're looking for excellence. Industry standard is here, and that won't get anywhere near the medals in a competition like this. It's got to be in the excellent range, really high, up near 90%. So it's very exciting. All the young people are so proud to be representing their country. And I hope there's a lot of young people that come through and maybe think, hey, I didn't realise what bricklaying is. I want to be a bricklayer now. That would be a great addition to the competition if we can do that.
Well, the bricklayers, the competitors started, they've been at it for over an hour. How is the progress so far? Are you satisfied with what you see?
I'm amazed. They're outstanding young men, and they've come here. They're already, you can see, they're giving their best effort possible. The standard of work is very good. They're very fast. But they've got some really tricky stuff coming up. This afternoon they're going to build an elephant out of block work to fit into some brickwork, and we hope it looks really good. I'm sure it will. And you can see they're up for the challenge. So let's see how it pans out, but the signs are good at this stage.
Troy Everett is an expert from Australia. Earlier he told me that this is his first time in Namibia. How is the experience?
Oh, I love it. The people, the place, the scenery. We feel so welcome, all the people here for the first time. We didn't know much about it before we came, but we're going to take away a great experience and a lot of treasured memories, and hopefully come back one day.
Thank you, Troy, so much. Troy Everett, the chief expert in bricklaying. Now, the smell here, you can smell the metal from the welting. You can smell the mushroom sauce from the kitchen here. The chefs behind me are going through their first test. They have 3.5 hours to create mushroom soup. And then a French word that I could not pronounce right now and cannot remember, but they have to do a whole week's plan of what they are going to do throughout the week. Now, when we come back, Franlin, I am going to try and get the chief expert from the cooking skill set. The place is so alive, it's full of buzz. School children from the local schools are also visiting to gain in case they might be interested in joining the vocational skills areas. You know, a lot of people expect youngsters to only focus on medical studies or lawyer, but this is also an industry that needs investment. There is also an industry, like the minister of the keynote speaker, minister said last night, that Africa, the continent, lacks in this area, and we need to push it. That is only the second time that this is happening on the African continent, and Namibia is fortunate enough to be hosting such a huge event.
Thank you so much, Emil. I wish I was also down there with you. It really sounds as if there's a lot of excitement down there, a lot happening. I will definitely make a turn at the cooking area to also experience what Emil is experiencing right now. We are coming to you live from the Dome in Swakopmund. We'll continue with our broadcast shortly. Welcome back. We continue with our broadcast here from the Dome in Swakopmund, where WorldSkills Africa 2022 Swakopmund is alive, and you know, a lot is going on right now. We'll be crossing over to Emil Seibeb, the competition skills area, a little bit later on, because he will have another expert that will tell us more about what is happening down there. But for now, I'm joined by Amon Muvatera, Chairperson of TVET Organising Committee. Amon, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, or good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For a lot of people out there, what they've heard before is just vocational skills. or we talk about vocational centers in Namibia. But there is a new word now that's embracing also, training, etc. Tell us more about TVET and the meaning of TVET, and also the importance of TVET in Namibia, but also for the African continent.
Thank you so much. TVET is an abbreviation, stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. So previously we used only to speak about vocational education and training, but in this context, it's more now, it's a high level, inclusive of the engineering aspects. So that's why now we talk about technical, when you do this, the science, the engineering, and in that context, that's why the new terminology they are using broad, across the world is TVET now, it's to include everything. The importance of TVET is that skills development, for countries like we are saying we are independent, we need to be able to supply skills, we need to be able to manufacture. We have like growth at home strategies, where we have Vision 2030s, where we are aspiring to become, in a country that would be able to, manufacture things on our own. So currently, like for example, Namibia, we just depend, exporting things from other countries, and of course the rest of Africa. So, but what we are trying to do here is that we need to address challenges that are affecting the TVET system in the country. Of course, in terms of the skill supply, to make sure that we have the skill set in terms of having qualified technocrats, that we could also be able to supply skills. We can not only train for Namibia, but we can train elsewhere. So we can supply skills. I could give you an example like Zimbabwe. It's a country that is well positioned when it comes to TVET, and that's why you find Zimbabweans are everywhere. They are working in Europe, elsewhere. So it's because the country has positioned itself and committed to make sure that they invest more on technical and vocational education and training.
Now, this at WorldSkills Africa 2022, it's not only the skills competition that's taking place or the exhibition. Tell us more about the TVET conference, because discussions have started in earnest with the opening happening earlier this morning. Tell us more about what we can expect in terms of especially the topics.
Thanks so much. No, actually the TVET conference, the way, it's always run along with the competition, because the WorldSkills competition is always run. There are three components. We have the skills competition, we have the exhibition, and then we have the TVET conference. The TVET conference now is an avenue where we are addressing policy issues that are affecting the TVET systems. In this context, we want to address the African, to reposition the African TVET system in terms of the reform. So we have a lot of challenges, and one of them, for example, the funding. TVET is poorly funded when it comes to most governments. And some African countries, for example, they do not have the training levy systems like Namibia and others. So I could say only the Southern African countries, the SADC, that are having the TVET levy, like Namibia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Mauritius. But the other countries, they do not really have the TVET, the training levy system. So the purpose of this is just for sharing, learning from each other, generate ideas, and come up with innovations. So like in this context of funding, of the TVET funding modules, we want the rest of other African countries that do not have like training levy systems, so that they can learn from the other countries that are already, to learn about the good lessons and also the challenges, so that they can also establish their own. So what we want to address in terms of the TVET conference, there is a discussion paper. That discussion paper is divided into 4 themes. Theme number 1 talks about the effective TVET systems. Here we are looking at the quality. What are the factors that defines the effectiveness of the TVET system of a certain country? So, and it's divided into sub-themes. We look at the theme number 1, sub-theme number 1, labor market. We look at the interlinkage between the labor market and the demand and supply. The labor market versus curriculum development. Because a number of times we develop curriculums either at the universities or the TVET that are not speaking to the labor market. The second focus areas, it talks about teacher training. This is a very you know, it's a very important component because we have challenges in Africa and of course including Namibia. Our TVET trainers are not really capacitated. So continuous professional development of TVET trainers. So you cannot talk about quality if you are not uplifting the standard of your trainers. And then the focus area number 3 under theme 1 is talked about socio-professional integration. Now it's a transition from when they graduate to the real world. So this must be a matching. So then the theme number 2 it talks about TVET funding model. Is the one that I have just indicated to say the purpose is for other countries to learn from the other countries in terms of the funding to ensure sustainability of the TVET system. And then the third, quickly, is about TVET and technology. You may notice that during the lockdown, especially in Namibia and the rest of the African countries, the vocational training centers were just closed because we were not yet there in terms of the online learning. So here we are trying to come up with, you know, how do we address, you know, technology? How do we infuse technologies in the training of TVET? And the final one is a very important one, is gender and social inclusion in TVET. We divide it into 2 focus areas. Focus area number 1 is looking specifically to women and TVET. How do we integrate women? How do the women need to be integrated in the male-dominant, you know, occupations? Like maybe the bricklayers, mostly would only find the males. But how do we make sure that women are also taking part? And the second focus area is now look at inclusivity. Here we are talking about the disability and the marginalized. And for us here, we are trying to be practical. Among the presenters that we have there, we have those with visual impaired. We have, like, for example, Dr. Ongoro from South Africa is visual impaired. We have from the marginalized, we have Pinky Story from Eswatini, Swaziland, formerly known as that. She's a woman, a young lady with albinism. And of course, you know, when you're albinism, also the visual impaired is also, you know, but she's an entrepreneur. So she's going to tell an exciting stories of how she became an entrepreneur. And the purpose of this conference is actually to learn from each other. And the reason how we, I mean, the way how we got those presenters, we have done an expression of interest, or I could say a call for presentations. Yes. It was not just a nomination, it's a call for presentation. And then they have to go through an evaluation exercise just to make sure that we get the right presenters. But we have really, you know, experienced presenters, and everything is going well up to so far.
Well, Amon, it really sounds like TVET is a huge passion for you.
Very much.
And it seems like a lot will be happening, especially when it comes to the conference, and we certainly look forward to engage a little bit more with you. I know you are a very busy man.
Yes, please.
But thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us.
Thank you.
We continue with our live broadcast. We'll be taking a short break and then we'll cross over again to Emil Seibeb, who is the competition area. Stay with us.
We are at the Dome in the competition hall. It is a phenomenon here, the spirit, the sportsmanship. Behind me is the Namibian competitor who is taking part in the cooking skills set. Her name is Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we are with you in spirit. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to engage the competitors. Now, on to my left side is restaurant services. Competitors there, I see people have already ended. Every detail is being checked there by their chef, by the chief expert. I mean, how they have set the tables, the precision of the knife and forks. How do you conduct yourself when there is a rowdy customer in your shop? So there we've got waiters, we've got people in the hospitality skill set. But now I'm joined by Chef Shawn Smith. He's the chief expert all the way from South Africa. He's overseeing the cooking skills here. Chef, tell us more about this.
Yeah, well, it's really great to be here in Namibia for WorldSkills Africa. And I'm also going to be in Russia. I was in Russia, in Kazan in 2019, and I'm going to be in Shanghai this year in October when we have the international competition. So it's exciting to see the regional skills like Africa here. The young people here get an opportunity to benchmark themselves, to get an idea of what's expected in an international standard. So yeah, we're very excited about the competitors we have. We got 5. We should have had 8, unfortunately, but we're down to 5. But 5 is good. Internationally, we have between 45 and 60, so it grows quite big. But there's a lot of things that people can learn, and the competitors already have learned so much. And that's really what skills engaging on skills development is all about.
Well, I know they are busy making mushroom soup. And I'm standing here thinking, I mean, it's just mushroom soup. You put mushrooms and put just...
Just has to make a meal about it, a meal of it. Hey, Emil?
So can you tell us the particulars of the challenge they have today?
Yeah, I'm punning on your name. You got that. Okay, that's good. No, for this meal, this is a soup. It's going to have somewhere in it mushroom. The fact is we actually had also host-specific ingredients. So we had things like ara oil, is that right? Ara oil, and mushrooms that are local mushrooms, not magic mushrooms, nice mushrooms. And we've got wonderful things like kapana spice. Got all sorts of local ingredients that they've got opportunity to use, but the idea is that they create something that is authentically mushroom as a soup, but they must give it their individual flair and flavor. So whatever they want to do with it, let them play and express that creativity. So we want to see that, but it's also going to be very tasty, because tasty is what we want. It's all very good having this sexy plate, but if it doesn't taste good.
But I mean, do you guys have to be so close to the competitors? The pressure is already there. Do you guys have to be so close? Just look at that guy with the dark glasses standing right behind the competitor there.
Yeah,
well,
looks like the godfather of cooking. Yeah.
Well,
the mafioso here too.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chef
Really
Shawn.
Great to have you here, and really good to be here. And thank you for visiting our stand. And yeah, if you want to find out more about a career in cooking, then explore that. There's lots of opportunity in various colleges in Namibia where you can actually learn to a world-class standard, and that's really what we want to see happen. So.
Thank you so much, Emil Seibeb, our roving reporter who was there at the competition hall. Joining me now here is Newaka, the Deputy Chairperson of WorldSkills, the Chairperson Marketing and Communications, WorldSkills Africa. Kathy, good day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Franlin, and thank you for having me.
Now, it's not only the skills competition that's taking place or the TVET conference, but there's also an exhibition underway right now here at the Dome in Swakopmund. Tell us more about this exhibition.
Well, the event kicked off officially with an opening ceremony last night, and today the Careers Exhibition, which is a very important component of WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund, also officially kicked off today until the 1st of April. So the objective is basically for both our public and private training institutions to showcase their products or service offerings to the general public with primary focus to our youth. So the idea or the objective is really to have our youth attend their careers exhibition so that they tap on this golden opportunity that lies within the vocational trade.
Kathy, in terms of the exhibitors, if you could just give us an idea of some of those, they're not only local, are they also international ones?
Yes, we have both local and continental exhibitors. The registration was overwhelming, but we had to tap it up to 55 exhibitors. We have exhibitors like Foch, we have Festo, we have AFROX, we have the Windhoek Vocational Training Centers, we have Zambezi Vocational Training Centers, which focuses on the agricultural sector. So the opportunities are really vast, and the number of exhibitors are here to showcase their opportunities to the youth. So my call is really for the youth to make use of this opportunity to get to learn about the opportunity, the various opportunities that lies within the vocational trade in Namibia, but also in the continent.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining us. And that was Kathy Newaka, Deputy Chairperson, Marketing and Communication, WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund. And she is basically inviting you to make a tent here at the Dome to also witness what's happening in the exhibition hall. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Franlin.
We'll continue with our broadcast after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. We now bring you the message by the WorldSkills President to young people and exhibitors alike.
To all the young women and men joining us here from across Africa, I want to send heartfelt congratulations for being selected to represent your nation at WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund 2022. You are already national champions, and I applaud you for all the hard work, determination and resilience you've shown to reach this point in your chosen careers. I want you to hold your heads high with real pride in your achievements and a firm belief that you can succeed against the odds, because you already have. WorldSkills Africa provides you with the opportunity to meet champions from other nations, to learn from each other, to reach out to them as fellow craftswomen and men who share your passion, and to form new networks and even friendships that your experts will tell you can last a lifetime. The test projects in your chosen competition have been designed not only to test your knowledge and skill, but to give you the opportunity to showcase your unique talents to the best of your ability by combining head, hand and heart to deliver excellence. So my final message to you is this. Remember, you are already a champion. Relax, enjoy and excel. Do the best you can do and be prepared to surprise yourself at how much you can achieve. Good luck, and may your skill be with you.
And that was the very inspiring message by Chris Humphries, the WorldSkills president, to especially young people attending this very exciting event. WorldSkills Africa 2022 Skills coming to you from this absolutely beautiful town. We thank you so much for having joined us for this broadcast. Patrick Sam will be back with you at around 7 o'clock this evening for in-depth analysis and discussions about not only the TVET conference that's taking place here at the Dome, but also the skills event, the skills competition, as well as the exhibition. So in-depth analysis coming your way at 7 o'clock tonight with Patrick Sam. From myself, Franlin Thomas, for now, it's goodbye.
Be a man of bravery, how quick I say be a man of bravery, how quick I say this is what you are, this is what you are, this is what you are, be a man of bravery, how quick I say be a man of bravery, how quick I say this is what you are, this is what you are.